want to do a real quick vlog about Michael Bamiro, offensive tackle from Stony Brook. Now, if you haven't heard this story yet, Michael Bamiro is a player who, at Stony Brook, starting left tackle for 3 years. He started over 36 games. Looks like he was going to his senior year. He's definitely on NFL teams' radars and high up the small school ranks. He was informed he didn't have any eligibility left. He applied for another year, didn't get that year. NFL draft's already passed. Since he didn't have any eligibility, he couldn't declare for the supplemental draft. So technically, he is a free agent in the NFL. You know, he's a player that I had a 5th to 6th round grade on. I think that could have been bumped up to a 4th round grade with a great year. If you remember Miguel Masonette, who was an undrafted free agent, went to the Eagles running back from Stony Brook. He really ran behind Bamiro last year. And when you watch, it's right side, right side, right side. Bamiro's a big guy, 6'8", 335 pounds he's listed at. He can move pretty well. Awesome upper and lower body strength. Just moving players off of the line of scrimmage. So I think he's a very good developmental right tackle. He's working out today. I'm still waiting to see the numbers on that, but I think more people are going to be looking to hear a little bit about him. And not just the size, but as I said, the strength and the run blocking ability is huge for me on Michael Bamiro. He is an excellent player in that sense, that he gets his arms inside, and he's very good at not overextending himself, especially if he's facing a speed rusher. When you have a guy that big, sometimes against speed rushers, they'll try to do a little bit too much. They'll try to get that big first push, try to beat them off the snap. That Michael Bamiro is very technically sound in that aspect. Now, that being said, he is kind of this big lumbering guy. He's not someone's going to pull for you. He's not someone that's going to be able to do that kick-out block that has some problems. So he's great in the run game against the speed rushers. He's great in the run game against the bigger players. Pass blocking leaves a lot to be desired. And as we're seeing in the NFL, the right tackle position just increasing in the pass protection that they need to be successful. So that's a little bit scary, and that's why he's not this highly rated prospect from a small school yet. I'm really interested to see the workout numbers. I think he could stick on a roster, worst case a practice squad player for a year, and I think you can bring him up. I think he can be a nice backup, even might have some possibility as a right guard, depending on the scheme. I even could see him playing in a zone blocking scheme. I know a lot of players that big, sometimes you look at a lot of analysts will look at the height and weight and say, nope, can't play in the zone blocking scheme. I disagree. I actually think that might benefit him in that pass blocking ability where he's in more of a zone instead of just being matched up man-to-man, where he can deal with those stunts in his space. So I think sometimes that can be good for a bigger player, and we see some bigger players be effective, especially at the guard position for that. So I think that could be a possibility, kick him inside the guard in his own blocking scheme. So I'm very intrigued at what team's going to pick him up. He's a free agent. He can go to the highest offer. He's lived most of his life in eastern Pennsylvania and in the New York area. So Jets, Giants, Bills, Eagles, you know, there's some very, very close teams to where he's grown up and where he's lived for most of his life. So you always look at that, and these type of situations can play a big part. So if your team picks up Michael Bamiro, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Shane P. Hallam, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. DraftTV.com, check it out. The supplemental draft also happened today. No one got picked, and no one's really getting picked up yet until we see some cuts happen for NFL teams. So that's something else. If you have questions on those players, you can hit me up or go to DraftTV.com to see a video of my thoughts on all the supplemental draft picks. So thanks, everyone, and I will be back soon as we do more fantasy work and do more NFL draft work.